Hi everybody. I'm going to sort of tie everything together. This is going to sort of be a wrap up of the scenery. Doesn't mean I'm done. I'm still going to be adding details. I still need to get some cows for my pasture. Maybe put a couple deer in there too. Still need to add a lot of vegetation to the creek, especially down around the water. On this hillside here, I intend to add some more trees and things. I'm not done, but any upcoming things just aren't going to be worthy of a video of themselves. So I'm just doing this as a wrap up. So I already talked pretty much about this section in here. Again, it's a mix of super trees and woodland scenics forest canopy. I used, and I'll see if you can hold this up. This is what I made most of the trees with in that section, the Super Trees Starter Kit. And it actually even says Super Trees N-Scale Starter Kit. The reason why I want to point that out here, and this is not a criticism at all, just an observation for you, or if you're going to do this. So after I ran out of those trees, I bought this Scenic Express Model Landscaping Supplies. This is Super Tree Value Pack. So there's a ton of stuff in this, but the problem with the other one was specifically N scale. So of course I've already made a bunch of trees out of this. I mean, I've already pulled a bunch of stuff out, but a lot of the stuff you get in this is really pretty big for an N scale tree. I mean, that's I know you cut them up and everything, but I mean that trunk on that tree there is a big diameter in N scale. So I've had a lot harder time getting N scale trees out of the value pack than I did in the starter kit, because the starter kit they sort of sorted it for you, gave you N scale stuff, and this I've had a harder time getting good stuff out of it. But I'll do it again. I buy it again. It's good stuff. Just letting you know that in the value pack has a little bit more work involved in it. So I'm going to go through a little bit section at a time. I'm going to talk about the bridge next, and then I'll talk about I'll zoom in and I'll talk about the fire tower and everything, and then sort of wrap it up with Route 93, which I had the article about the other day. Okay, forgive the shakiness. This is a Kato bridge, came with Unitrack on it. Took the Unitrack off, obviously. I'm using Code 70 Microengineering Rail. I have some bridge track. I ordered one piece of bridge track from Mike Pfeiffer. It's pretty, from Pfeiffer Hobbies. It's pretty expensive stuff. But even that, I thought, well, one piece, it comes in a 3-foot long tube. It's going to cost me as much to ship it as it does to actually, buy it. So I called Mike up and said, hey, could you just cut this into pieces for me so it'd save a lot on shipping? He said, sure, no problem. So I appreciate Mike doing that. So I do have the bridge rails on it. Again, in the prototype, when they have bridge rails, it's usually a lighter weight rail, because they're just made to keep the car basically from not derailing on the bridge to damage the bridge. They want the car to stay pretty much on the rails till it gets off the end, and then it can flop over if it needs to. In this case, bridge rails, of course, they usually just pure rust. I mean, there's never a train on them, so they're rust. Since these rails are the same height as the Code 70 rails, when I clean the track, they will get clean too, so they'll be shiny. Just something I have to live with. I can paint them now. Man, it'd be a real pain to try to clean if I had to clean the track and just try to clean the outside rails and not touch those guide rails. So, but I have painted them. I have weathered all the rail on everything. And as you can tell, I've gone ahead and ballasted. Maybe some people don't ballast to the end. I ballast early, as soon as I know the trains are going to run, because I just like the look of it. I just rather have the trains on running on ballasted track if I can. I did add a barrel, a little, I don't know what you call that, standoff or something, where if someone's on the bridge and a train comes, they can stand off to the side. They used to keep barrels on them because steam engines, a lot of times with cinders, would set bridges on fire. Obviously, this is a steel bridge, but you could still set the ties on fire. So I put one on there, just a little added detail. Anyhow, so come around here. I ballasted the track around as far as you can see. There is a gap in there of a few inches that doesn't have ballast. I did not really scenic the inside of the cut because you couldn't see it, but it does have dirt on it and some ground foam that just happened to be there. So we don't, if we have like a tunnel or a staging yard, we don't generally scenic those, so I wasn't going to scenic something you couldn't see. So that's it for the bridge. Maybe you can see a little bit more of the grass. Again, I'm going to put more vegetation on this hill here. Okay, there's a bunch of trees in here. Actually, I took yesterday off work. I'm real bad about, ended up with a bunch of vacation days I have to take in November and December. And I've got a real tough stretch coming up in August, so I went ahead and took it off yesterday, and I made a bunch of trees. Still didn't make enough. So the trees on the right-hand side, over here are a little bit not as dense as the other side. Again, it's a mixture of the super trees and the forest canopy, and I've got some of my pine trees in the back that I made using furnace filters. Obviously, the fire tower is can't see over some of those trees, but the fire tower, they usually put it on one of the highest hills around. Now, I just found out that I think it's N-Scale Architects came out with a really, really nice fire tower. It's photo etched. It has the walkway inside and everything. So I may eventually get one of those and replace here. I like this one. The N-Scale Architect one is 4 times the cost of this one probably. But it looks a lot finer detailed. This is, laser cut wood. And so those beams are actually, those cross braces and everything, probably actually a scale 2 feet or something. And so I think the N-Scale Architect would be a little bit better. Plus it's taller too. So might do it someday, but not that I'm unhappy with this one. This was a good value for the money, and it was fun to build. So you can see I made a road up sort of a Jeep track, and I've got my M38 Jeep up there. Can't really see it from this view. I might take the camera off the tripod. Let me move it around a little bit. Maybe you can see it here if I zoom in. And maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, if I keep zooming. Yeah, so I made a little footpath like the guy from the Jeep would walk underneath there to get to the ladder, to get up in it. Just dirt, so just add a little detail. I put some, underbrush, some growth, some, really small trees. These are basically the scraps off of the super trees. I just went ahead and dipped them in the glue and, and made them up. So I've got some underbrush in there. Come back around here a little bit. And I put a dead tree right here. Fell down the hill. And that's part of the forest canopy. Again, that stuff is a lot thicker, and usually on a dead tree, all the small stuff just falls off, disappears right away. All you end up with is the big branches. So I thought that worked out, pretty well for that. See if I can zoom in on it a little bit. Yeah, there you can see it, right in here. I may put a couple deer in there sometime, but I'm not real big on super detailing with people and stuff. Vehicles is about as far as I can go. I put a couple of cats in Chillicothe and one of them has disappeared. I'm sure it's in the vacuum somewhere, long gone. So I'm just not real big on that kind of stuff in N scale. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about on this video is Boomer. What I talk about all the time, what role model he is, what a great inspiration he is on Boomer dioramas. Suggested in the comments, one of my videos, that it would really be good to have like a small hill here with yellow ground foam blending up into the backdrop with a chain with a barbed wire fence. I thought, well, that's a pretty cool idea. So this is just a little mock-up I made using balsa wood. I think it looks pretty good. I'd like to hear your comments on it. I think the color could be a little darker. Might be able to, paint it a little bit. I added the green there because alongside the road there's usually a ditch, and then there's a fence, and then there's a field. So I added some green ground foam there, and this is just a scrap piece of the Woodland Scenics barbed wire that I had. I really think I may try to get some of that easy wire and make my own barbed wire, because to me it's really hard to get these. Just maybe my problem, but it's really hard to get these taut in there. So at least I haven't figured out a way to do it yet. So I may do that. But this is a good idea. Again, I don't want to. Let me pan a little bit if I can do it. Oh, I always go the wrong way. Again, this is Main Street. So on the corner, man, I'm just bad at this. Sorry. Right here, there's going to be a couple of buildings. Yeah. But it can transition into the country, because it does transition into the country pretty fast in Oak Hill. So I could put a couple small retail type buildings there, maybe a gas station or something, and then transition into the field. I think it's a really interesting idea, and I like it. It just got to match the color a little bit better than it is right now. But even now, that's not bad. So I'm going to close the video with a couple of shots of trains going across the bridge. You can see I've already got one into Oak Hill. I have already, I sort of staged a train of typical cars that would be coming to Oak Hill. It was a haven for 70-ton hoppers because of all the clay industry they had there. So tons of 70-ton hoppers in Oak Hill, and boxcars for bricks. You're never going to see a tank car on this line. You're going to see some gondolas for scrap, or gondola, however you want to say it. But there's some cars you're never going to see here. As far as I know, Oak Hill didn't have a team track. It was only, a few miles from Jackson, maybe 8 or 10 miles from Jackson. So if somebody needed something unloaded onto a truck, they could just do it in Jackson and truck it down to Oak Hill. It wasn't a big deal. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what I think. Let me know what you think. What I think I'm going to do next, because I've gotten a lot more subscribers since I started this, and I went away from Oak Hill for a while. So if you're a new subscriber and you want to see how I built Oak Hill, then I have an Oak Hill playlist. Let me move the camera back and unzoom. The brick was holding something down there. It's not exactly scale size. So Oak Hill was designed as a separate module originally. Then when my wife suggested to move both layouts into the same room, I started working on connecting the two which is, that's the connection, and here's Chillicothe. So I'm going to be getting back to Oak Hill now that the connection is close to being done. Still have some details on it, but if you want to know about Oak Hill, you can go back and check out the playlist. I think I'll do a little short video reintroducing Oak Hill because it's been a while since I've worked on it. Just the industries are going to be there, the operation, my track plan, that kind of stuff. So hope everybody stays safe. I am having my friend Fran is coming down tomorrow. My mouth is healed up well enough for we can do it. May storm, chance of rain, but I'm planning on running the Garden Railroad if we can. It may be humid, but it's going to be in the low 70s when it gets here. Run some trains in the garden, and then we will come in, eat some lunch, come inside, and run some trains inside here. So again, everybody stay safe, and appreciate any feedback you've got for me. Take care.